Welcome, brothers. Welcome, sisters. Welcome to the program On Target. And as usual, as soon as we start this program, you can pick up whatever subject matter. We speak about anything: politics, religion, socioeconomic issues, any topical issue of the day, any issue trending. But most important, you can introduce your own perspective of what it is. We are 91.9 RealFM. We are on YouTube and Facebook, both RealFM and Francis Pierre On Target. So you can make contact with us. We always welcome our brothers from the diaspora. The people in the diaspora is a very important part of our development and our culture. And they must know that. And we in Grenada here must know that. A Grenadian anywhere in the world is important for the development of our country. I think it was Gary that said, once your grandmother is a Grenadian, you are, So we welcome you. Again, the number to call is 442-0175. I had a discussion with a sister yesterday afternoon. She seems pretty depressed. And I had to remind her that this is the period of Lent. And during my discussion with her, I remember the women that was mourning for Jesus Christ on the road he was to be crucified. His cross. I think by that time Simon of Cyrene was already helping him. And he called up to them, he said, "Women of Jerusalem, weep for yourself and for your children." While I was speaking to the woman, she seemed so depressed that I had to remind her what Christ told the women of Jerusalem. I think in Grenada now the same thing could be said. Weep for yourself and for your children. When the going get tough, you are expected to get tough. When the going get hard, you are expected to get tough. A number of our women today have lost their jobs. And as a result of speaking to the daughter, I realized some of them would be extremely stressed out. During a period of time like that, you got to remember those of you who have a family and a home, you cannot afford to fail them. And you must find alternative ways to be positive.
In fact, you must use this opportunity to succeed. You know, women of Grenada, don't weep for me. Weep for yourself and your children. It is difficult for you today. In Yemen, the same thing might happen again. It might be more difficult for your children. So this is why it is so necessary to fix the pitch. They say don't tamper with the ball, but fix the pitch. Make certain that you provide your child with the best education possible, so your child will be competitive on the job market. And that is a task, particularly for the women who have been victims as a result of this. Now is the time for you to look at your own children and say, I want to prepare my children that in the future, if they got unfair dismissal, they will be very competitive on the job market and they will be able to get a job very easy. A lot of Grenadians now are not competitive on the job market. Throughout the Caribbean, that is one of the biggest challenges facing the Caribbean islands. Too much of our people within working age are not competitive on the job market. All the majority of countries in the Caribbean with high violence problem, they have high unemployment. The prisons in the Caribbean, all of them, from Jamaica, St. Lucia, Grenada, are overpopulated. And the majority of the people in prison did not leave school with the minimum basic education required to be competitive on the job market. Every time we have excessive violence in a country, or we have violence that cause the politician to raise their eyebrow, they go to try to pass laws and to strengthen the police force. In Jamaica, some states are running with state of emergency. And St. Lucia summoned the SSU. That is not the answer. And we cannot solve the violence problem in the Caribbean overnight. We didn't make it overnight. We didn't manufacture it overnight. But in 5 to 10 years, we could make a serious dent in the level of violence in our country. If we are producing children, they go through the school system, and at the age of 16, 17 years, that's when normally children leave secondary school. They do not have the minimum requirement. They do not have the qualification necessary to go to universities or institution of higher level. Then something is wrong with the system. Some would be physically, mentally challenged. Yes, you expect some, but not 70%. Do not meet the minimum requirement. 60% of the people looking for jobs in Kenya do not have the skill set or the necessary education for the jobs they are seeking for. So you have high unemployment. And then when you wake up and you have a government that is hostile towards people in the lower income group, then it complicates the challenges that we have. I appeal to the women in particular. Of people affected by this present government policy are women. Women of Karakou. The women that was fired in the Ministry of Communication Pulse. The women involved in the caregiving program. The women involved in the wardens. The women involved in money. That not certain if tomorrow is the last day. You have been told if you're 35 and over, you're not supposed to be in that program. Since then, the government, but the word is still on the ground. And these people are quickening the boots. So it is important for us to pay particularly attention to your children. If it is hard for you today, it could be worse for you. I think some individuals say as the period of Lent, you might find some people fasting. Say, don't walk around with frown faces, telling people you're fasting, all your face. So in the same way, the women who have lost their job, no, it's not time for you to stress out your whole family and your children. Now is the time for you to seek alternative source of employment. The girl I was speaking to, I say, sell something on the road, sell cigarettes. You're always on the block. That's where I met her. Sell cigarettes, sell nuts. If you have a fridge home, make snow ice. You've been working on a farm that pays you about $40 a day. I'm absolutely certain you could make that in profit. Buy things from the shop, sell it on the street. Because you have children in school. They cannot afford to see their mother falling up. It's no fault of yours. Be proud of what you do. But also discuss with your children the necessity for them to good education. I don't believe our schoolhouses are doing a good job. I said that 1,000 times. You speak to children. You don't have to believe me. Speak to the children. Ask them what they want to be and find out the subjects they're doing in school. And sometimes you see how far they are from reality. I believe that children going into school should endeavor to do well in mathematics, English language, the science subjects, physics, chemistry, and biology. They should embrace Spanish and French. They should embrace Spanish and French. Or try to be bilingual. Well, computer science is a necessity. You must do it. Because you cannot do anything today in this world without being knowledgeable in the computer area. Why bilingual? Grenada is a small country. 110,000 people. Over 70 years, our population have not increased in any significant way. But Grenada have established good political relationship with the Spanish countries, Cuba, Mexico, Costa Rica, Latin America, the whole of Latin America. All of them speak Spanish. So it makes sense that our children, by the time they exit secondary school, they should be bilingual. They should be able to speak Spanish or communicate in Spanish or function in Spanish. Several hundred people from Grenada went to schools in Spanish country, Mexico, Costa Rica, Venezuela. So it makes every sense. You have Guadeloupe and Martinique and France. So it is important that you delve in French. Every child in Grenada should try to be bilingual. But it's leading our children. And it's an accident. It's not an accident at all. It's bad-mindedness. You see, they want some of our children not to do well. So they are not giving proper counsel. If you have a child in school, mathematics is important. Communication, English is important. Statistics are important. And you should encourage children to be bilingual. Computer education. So let's call her welcome.
Good day, sir.
Yes, my brother, welcome.
Well, I was told, according to what I get here, I was told that the government said that they're going to make some harsh decision now because me was too soft. They say them is the government with belly. They have belly. Michel did have taken some decision, tough decision. So I prove it now that Deacon Mitchell decided to imitate all bishop policy. He decided no, he only can do what Bishop was doing because Bishop was one man rule. Bishop was a one-man rule, but now he was elected by the people. So he have to do differently. But they said he is going to take tough decisions now. So that's why he said earlier, religions ban. I don't know if you agree with me.
Well, caller is, yeah. Well, it's not whether we agree or not. You in tongue long. You're supposed to know that every time the National Democratic is come in power, they don't take tough decisions. Easy decisions. Based upon the philosophy and the culture, they are not deep thinkers. So when they have a problem, they say normally silver. That's not decision. That's reckless decision. That's reckless. Every time the NDC come in power, they sell the family silver. In 2008, they sold 13 pieces of property in Grenada. That the only political party and government in the whole OECS that sold property that did not belong to them. They sold shares that legally they could not sell. They could not sell. They sold shares that legally sell. So I expect them now to drop the tax threshold. Our tax there is about $3,000 a month. If you're not working for $3,000 a month or $3,000 and less, you're not paying personal income tax. Yes, caller, welcome. Yes, caller, welcome. So I expect them to drop the tax threshold. Maybe go down to 2,000 in the first instance and go down to 1,000. So you will find more people in the tax bracket. I expect them to sell. You remember the opposition leader said it was? The previous opposition leader, that could be the reason why. I expect them to sell other government property. The last time they was in government in 2008, the economic situation was not as bad. And immediately, they didn't think, they sold government property. Caller, is that somebody die and leave property for the son? And within 9 months, they start to sell out the silver. I know one of the individuals that we could consider as a vagrant. Before he becomes so, he sell the cylinder in the White House. And he that go and call the police. And after they catch him going to the stove. That is the National Democrats. Every time they come in power, immediate break. Well, they did it in 2008. I don't think it was done in 90. In 2008, they did that. And they do it in 2023. They give a tax break. And immediately, they start to sell the family silver. So this is a tough decision Deacon claim he make. This is not tough decision. This is predictable decision. This is done that people that do not think. We have some Grenadians that sell land they inherit, Baka. And 4 or 5 years after, they do not have a car. The car has deteriorated, depreciated, and they have no land. Said one of the parliamentary representatives said, election have consequences. And I have to agree with that. It is sad and it is unfortunate, but that is the consequence of the National Democratic Congress. They always hostile against the people in the lower income group. When the NDC leave this country, there will be more poverty. Look at what they did. They met an economy because of the international circumstances. The cost of living were rising. They add to the cost of living. They add to the cost of living. That is not the action of a sane at the time. They met a treasury pregnant. They themselves said the treasury was pregnant. They are not conservative spending. Why do I say that? They travel as if they have a new treasure. Conservative in their traveling at all. They have ministries, they have 2 advisors. They had a whole slate of advisors for different ministry. That is not a government that is conservative in spending. Yet, although they're not conservative in spending, although they give concession to businesses and taxpayers, still and take away $150 from the elderly, physically. The National Democratic Congress still disadvantage children in school that needs assistance. This is the government. The government. It is not hard decision they take. They're selling the family silver. What is so sad and unfortunate, even to their own political activists, even to their own politicos, even to their strongest supporters, they deceive. They have made with the Grenadian public. And this is the result. 5 years from now, we will be worse off. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Good day.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. This morning, I think I heard Culture Man say something about the cocoa price, about 15 cents, and the cocoa. I don't know how it's real, but I don't know. I don't get information. I wonder how Culture Man does get that information on them. But if that happened, well, I will be disappointed. I don't know in this time with $8. No, I see that. No, I sure I'll go. Everything go by the dollar. And how if you have to raise cocoa price by 15 cents, they insult the farmers. And remember the government campaign and one of the main pillars is agriculture. You know, they say they didn't bother any tourism, you know, but they realize they have to come back and hear words. Work tourism, okay, that's what sustaining the economy right now. But with main, they talk about the 5 pillars. Tourism wasn't in it. Agriculture is one of the main, and healthcare and all kind of thing. But today, I see happen. So it is 15 cents. You have to sell a whole 500 pound of cocoa in order to get $75. I don't know. I only say it doesn't because he does advertise for them. So I don't know if you should, but I can really insult maybe 15 cents. You know. In this modern time, you everything I tell us snow ice go and buy dollar, a forge go and buy dollar, but 15 cents for all this hard labor. I don't believe that. I wouldn't do this year going on it. So take him up here.
Well, if Culture Man say it, Culture Man, give us a call, man. Tell us that you don't have this information, we doesn't get it. So give us a call. You know. So this is the reality. This is any deep thinking. The NDC using the cheapest way to solve problem. They're selling the family assets. It is sad. It is unfortunate. It is mind-boggling. But that is the National Democratic Congress. And in light of that, yes, caller, welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, Mike.
Mr. Pierre, the reason why they're doing all this thing, they don't do for long, you know. They don't make in 5 years inside there, you know. If they make 5 years inside the world, right? They ain't there for long. So they do all kind of things because they know that for themselves. Right, Mr. Pierre?
Yes, but we don't have to stay for long to do this. A fire could burn on a whole house in a couple of minutes. The National Democratic Congress remained in power for about 4.5 years between 2008 and 2013. And they sold 13 pieces of property in Grenada. They sold land that did not belong to them. And they sold shares that legally they couldn't sell. They still sell it. In 1990, they took a loan from a commercial bank, I believe. And they cut down Belvedere nutmeg. And they plant banana. This was awesome. It was mind-boggling. No extension officer in Grenada agreed with them. We don't know where they get this Rambo. But the National Democratic Congress took a loan, cut down Belvedere nutmeg, and plant banana. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Good. Thank you, caller.
And how are you today?
Great, man.
Mr. Pierre, I'm calling on the Minister of St. Patrick West, Joseph Andal. Look into the medical station at Mount Rich. Mr. Pierre, things so rough, things tough, hardship, people bawling. For you to go to the medical station in Hermitage, you have to leave very early in the morning. You have to have at least $5 to pay the bus. To go to Sotes, the same thing. And maybe you might stay half day, or maybe a day too. When you got nothing, I want to know what Mr. Andal, Joseph Andal, said the good people of St. Patrick West vote for him. They put him there. Joseph Andal, get up and get. Grenadians bawling. Are you worse than when Uncle Tilly was there? Have a blessed evening, Mr. Andal.
Yes, scholar, you got to remember, Mr. Andal say, we the good people. I thought a mistake he made, and I'm kind of light on politicians, but he never withdrew the statement. And another one of them said, we the good people in Parliament, and William Joseph added his voice to it. In addition to that color, the NDC have a history, a hostility against the marginalized and poor people. So I don't know if that is of any concern to them. We have to be reasonable. We have to be fair. Sometimes the NDC don't care about that. You see, these little things, they don't care about it. They're concerned. They say they want to build a teaching hospital. Nobody explained that to me. A teaching hospital, what does that mean? Is it a hospital for young doctors? Then why not let the university build a teaching hospital? Is it a hospital to attract tourists? Some countries do health tourism. So they provide good facility in the hospital. So people will come from other countries and come to doctor, and so they're going to make money. Huge lot of money, so. What is the purpose of a teaching hospital? I don't know. You see, I have to ask because I don't know. I don't have experience in these things. When I teach in hospital, I think about the University of the St. George's University. They perhaps would have a hospital, or if government want to help them build a hospital, anything else. What is the purpose of the hospital? 110,000 people. We have a good dispersion of clinics. Shouldn't we upgrade the quality of the clinics? Should we not make certain that doctors are in the clinic for 24 hours? Could we reach that stage? Where we have a doctor, a residential doctor in each of the, and a nurse. We want a teaching hospital, and they use this big term. I know that cannot be done in 5 years. But when you have a teaching hospital with doctors in it, would you be able to attract your nurse in it? So we make certain we have a residential doctor in the localities, in the rural. Scholar, welcome.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, scholar, welcome.
Yes, I want to address that issue that they now rename WASH. That is the Batman Toilet Program to get rid of the pit latrine in this country. And I'm yet to understand how a government in this day and age come talking that kind of language to people where voluntary work would be done to get that project going. Begging of businesses to get the materials or the basic infrastructure, you might say, to get that project going. I'm yet to understand how to expect that to be sustainable. who would be involved in getting that project in this day and age? I'm yet to understand it. With the cost of living, people's way of operating nowadays with time, they're not going to plant all by the roadside as in the Sagiri time. This is something that would take a few days, well enough to come. So when you're getting voluntary workers to get that project going, I'm yet to understand it. Then at the same time, we used to have people paid, brigades as they used to be referred to, paid. We guarantee workers. You guarantee work for people. You guarantee a bread, as they say, in the mouth every day. You turn it now to a voluntary something, and you're going to build business places for the toilet and the toilet and so on, to all the amenities to put inside of that project. I'm here to understand how it will work. Take care, sir.
Yes, my brother, and this thing, sometimes you wonder how these bright, educated people could so indulge in plagiarism. When you say wash, and you say it is your idea, I consider it as plagiarism. Yes, caller, welcome. Yes, caller, welcome. I consider it as plagiarism. But that is the National Democratic Congress. You remember in 2008, we must not have shallow memories. That's why I would not encourage children to waste time with history in school. A bag of lies. Let your parents teach your family. Learn the history about your villages. You remember in 2008, when the National Democratic Congress come in power, they had some of their supporters cut us in by the road, Clay Road. They tell them the government have no money, so do volunteer work. But while these people were doing volunteer work, the hierarchy of the NDC wasn't volunteering. They was making sure that of the top echelons in the party. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, this thing, they used to, on a Sunday, during the revolution, people used to gather and cut bush on the side of the road. I can't remember the name they used to call it, but they used to call it something.
Yes, the revolution used to do that.
Yes, they used to call it something. Well, that is what is coming back,
And the revolution used that method to determine who was counted.
Of course, that is why you are crying for Bishop. We miss you, we love you.
Yeah,
The
revolution used that to determine who was counter-revolutionaries. Some people stay far from there, but it was marked as counter-revolutionaries.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they can just talking stupidness. Stupidness is talking. And with the bathroom and toilet and the washer and whatever, washer and whatever.
Well, sometimes to get a work in the DP, you might volunteer with the bathroom and toilet.
Well, I have a proper skill, so I don't have to do them stupidness to please nobody.
Yes, I mean, you and I may have to do it, but other Grenadians might be forced.
Well, I would be sorry for them.
Yeah.
And another thing, they want to sell what they have to go and buy 93 acres of land from Lyric to build a hospital. They ain't have money to pay people money, but they want to go and buy 93 acres of flat land. Where these people and them get their ideas?
Well, the National Democratic Congress are not deep thinkers. And the emphasis is not people in the low-income group. It's a strange political party, you know.
Yes. Let me can see if you could get the 3 acres of land sell. If you want to sell the land, where they're going to sell what they have to go and buy 93 acres of land to build a teaching hospital, and that wouldn't finish. No? No, man. So we have a...
Yes, color something we forget our history. And people mustn't forget the history. You pay the price. Some of the history you're learning in school is a bag of lie. Time for us to understand that. Yes, caller, welcome.
Relative to the afternoon again.
Yeah, man.
Relative to that, the hospital that the Prime Minister is talking about. I already mentioned lands in Hoopville. And there was the other place, I don't remember right. But you see, because I'm so familiar with Hoopville nowadays, I am looking at where in this place, because is there some areas where you build houses, or there's a big area where people do all the farming. And you know, an associate, the owner of that company, has a farm in that area there too. It's a very productive area. So I'm yet to understand which part they're talking about to utilize. Whilst at the same time we're talking about that should be given to farmers for what you call food security. To go and utilize a place like in Hopeville to put that hospital, I think is counterproductive. The other place, I'm trying to remember and I'm not getting it. But I have a pretty, somebody sent it, I think I remember hearing it. There was a time when that hospital was talked about to be put in Hope in that area up there. And I don't know what caused abandonment of the idea, but why not go back to that original area? Because based on what I understood at the time, the area that they choose was an area that is utilized area. Nobody's utilizing it right now. It's a bushy area, woodlands as you might say it. So why not go back up there? As for the Hopeville area, I don't think it's a good idea to put a hospital like that in Hopeville. It will utilize farmlands that people are occupied with right now. Take care.
Yes, caller. Well, obviously, I'm still asking what you mean when you say you have a teaching hospital. What is the purpose of it? Because if you say you have a teaching hospital, in my own ordinary rudimentary mind, you have a hospital for people to practice. And if a small country like Grenada, you're building a teaching hospital for who? Why not make certain that you have residential nurse and doctor in the main clinics in the area? Service. Preventative health is one of the most important aspects of health. That is one of the most neglected part of health. Preventative health. We have a university in Grenada. Now, is the hospital built at the request of the university? Is the university the main sponsor of the hospital? Or are we going to sacrifice this country in poverty, being in the limelight? You know, some people want to be in the limelight. These are issues, people. This government have a history of selling out with assets. The government is hostile to low-income group. The people are neglected. Perhaps if I had to make a suggestion, but I know nobody would listen to me. Yes, caller, welcome. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Well, I was told that the present location of the hospital is located for somebody to make a hotel. So all kind of thing happening. Somebody want to buy the location of the hospital right now, and I understand that they're looking for some privatization for Grenland. Trouble.
Well, you see,
A lot of trouble.
yeah,
We want back the 150 for the old people because we heading for trouble. So I like your program. Thank you, sir.
yes, that is a challenge of us because we get tied up studying this old history in school and not ours. Every time the NDC come in power, they behave as if they're taking coke and they're selling our assets. And the National Democratic Congress is not prepared to give explanation. They're hiding from the press. And some of the recognized press that is close to the NDC hiding from them. So we may not know what assets that have been sold. I ask the question a lot of time. Who sent Deacon? And why he come into politics? It's an important question Indians must start to ask. Why these individuals all of a sudden are interested in politics? Yes, caller, welcome.
And you're right, as I said, all of a sudden, because he himself usually point out to people that only in 8 months he became the leader of the party and the prime minister at the same time. Now, I'm not a party person. I make that point all the time. And I don't like to have to repeat myself too much. But the reason why I need to say that is because I believe in objective analysis of things. So I remove myself from biasness. And I'll say that to you. As much I notice that Dickney is a very lovable person to people. The people who like him very much. I describe him as a deceitful person. I describe him as a scampish type in the sense where he is a very subtle, deceitful type. Some people go as far as saying he lie a lot. Well, I don't actually use that word yet.
He lying pile is a pile of lie.
I know he's deceitful. That's a fact. But I tell you this. The reason why I'm saying it that way now is because I am so disappointed in this government. After every Monday is cabinet meeting. That's where the responsibilities of the government or the people in cabinet, that's where they make decisions. And that's where the people understand what is going on. Well, they hardly have in parliament. That's one. But after them not having post-cabinet conference, which I was so used to. I was not like to be informed. I was so used to it when Kit Mitchell was the prime minister and the cabinet. He bring them out just about every Tuesday to inform the people what are the decisions that was made. We need to know these things of them. And I'm so disappointed in Dick Mitchell in that present situation that I'm yet to describe it properly. Honestly, I don't use up language, but I'm angry about the whole thing. And the kind of words that you or like to use, don't know. But they need to get the point. They really need to get the point. The Prime Minister, and watch me, you know what is amazing about this whole thing? On Sundays, there's a program that the NDC has. The NDC had bid the ballot on 12 o'clock. I listen to that program just about every Sunday. And you know, that's where some of the ministers come and bring out cabinet decisions. And I'm yet to answer how they could be so dumb. And you have a political program. The government is not a political party. And people need to get that straight. The government is not a political party. So that what we need to hear from the ministers has to come from, for example, the post-cabinet conference and so on, press conference. Not information coming to the NDC heartbeat on Sundays. But I'm disappointed with them very much when it comes to that. Take care, sir.
Yes, Michael, I have a slight different position from you. I'm not disappointed in Deacon because I never knew him. And I've been studying him before I was able to make some statements on him. I'm disappointed in the trade union, the private sector, organization, the civil organization, independent intellectuals in the country, and the Bar Association. These are some of the custodians of our democracy. And if, yes, caller, welcome. Yes, caller, welcome. We lost that caller? All right. Caller, try again. We always highly appreciate and welcome our callers. These are the institutions you to maintain a democratic process. So if you had a previous government for 2 terms, having a press conference after every cabinet session. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yeah, I get left.
Yeah.
I'm saying that I heard the media association met with the Prime Minister.
You're kind of low.
I said the media association met with the Prime Minister. Right?
Yeah.
But we have not heard anything what came out of it.
Because some media men hiding from the government and the government hiding from some.
And then we heard the president saying that he was not satisfied that he was getting information from the government. They might be with the Prime Minister and you still ain't tell us nothing? Something wrong.
Maybe the time has come for us to be more dismissive of these conventional journalists. People are expecting too much for them.
Because if you're the media and you complain that okay that you didn't see the bill, now that you met with the Prime Minister, you have not told the nation anything. And I thought the media was there to educate us and to inform us. I thought that's the use of the media. So something is wrong there.
Yeah.
I too have my difference with this teaching hospital and this new hospital. While I tend to believe you that we should be upgrading. For instance, we have this place in St. John, which is called almost a mini, not almost, but it's a mini hospital. And it does not equip with the modern things that is needed. And I think that's the way forward. You have sorters where you could upgrade again. And I just hear in the news just now about some water system for Maribou. And you have a lot of room in Maribou to do upgrading. So why a new hospital?
Caller, I'll tell you. You see, there's a lot of people in Grenada. I always say, a lot of Grenadian think bang. They want to play dance in borrowed feathers. You have a lot of workers in Grenada that have medical health insurance. So they could go to private doctors. It's only when watermelon floor they just go in the hospital. Teachers, public officers, electricity workers, Nawasa workers, workers in the St. George's University, workers in telephone company, and some workers in the private sector. They have medical health insurance. So they don't care about the facilities. So the government don't care about it. I don't know when we're going to wake up. We need to wake up.
I mean, New England put on the hospital. They have a lot of room inside it for sophisticated machinery and so. So I see that we could do a lot of upgrading. Unless if the School of Medicine is open at a teaching hospital, I could understand if government part 9, but to put that just on your own, it is going to cost a lot, and if you can't do that in 5 years.
Hi.
Good.
We need to brainstorm on these things and speak on these things. People like a big name. Grenada is building a teaching hospital. For what? What you doing with it? If you're building a hospital because of health tourism, attract people from the Windward Islands and the Caribbean to come here because you have top quality facilities. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, welcome.
My question is why the government is not putting a major emphasis on agriculture, where today our food bill is very high. We import everything. So why can the government use this leverage to upgrade our agriculture for the benefit of the whole? First of all, we have to try to feed our people, right? And then we could think of after that in exporting. But we instead do a lot of importation. For example, chicken. A lot of these things could and cut the importation bill, which could help our citizens. But that is not been done. Other thing which is, the hospital, we have it there to save. So at least we have enough things to save, help people and save people's life. Yeah?
Yeah.
As you rightfully said, upgrade. And you could do a lot of areas. You could have a mega hospital, wherever part of Grenada, but how can fly somebody from Karakou? You have somebody from Soteres. So we could upgrade those areas, upgrade Soteres, upgrade Karakou and other areas. Yeah, even the south of the island, I think your proper clinic is with a lot of people lives here, and there are always accidents here. So you could actually do something properly here. Yeah, instead of having one major thing, because we have a lot of traffic leading to one area. So what's the sense? At least spread it out. 100,000 people, as you said before, our population is not that growing. So why are you investing in things which is a major priority at this time? Our Grenada is very high, so agriculture should be the main background where we should supposed to be targeting and investing and encourage people to invest.
Yes, Colin. One of the challenges we have in Grenada, we don't think tank. We don't hold discussion on issues. And we shy away from issues. The National Democratic Congress, in my opinion, have the worst reputation where agriculture is concerned. But they have done a lot of propaganda. And people over the years have not been challenging the NDC. The NDC are not deep thinkers. Yes, Colin.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller. Well,
I do agree with the last caller here. The government should focus on something more meaningful as agriculture, because we will never be shortage of food. We should concentrate on that, because the hospital we have here, sometimes the hospital is full. Even in Karakou, sometimes you go to the hospital in Karakou and you meet maybe one person. Sometimes you go a few times, you meet maybe a few people. Then there's not much people there. Sometimes one patient, sometimes two. Sometimes all of a sudden it full up again. So there is no need for a bigger hospital. Let us upgrade the one that we have. Make it better, right? For people, bring in lots of good equipment. So we don't have to travel going down the mainland, right? Bring it. Thank God we have an X-ray machine. Thank God for Sister Kindra. She put this in. And then other things, ultrasound. But there is more. What about the blood? When they take the blood from you and you put it on the osprey, by the time you get to Grenada, it's contaminated. So we could look for more things to upgrade the hospital, right? Not what he's trying to do now. He has his own self, his own selfishness. That's what he's thinking of. The favors. He wants to please them and not the Grenadian people. Mr. Pierre, have a nice day.
Yes, I always ask who sent Deacon. It's always puzzled when you tell me a successful corporate lawyer jump into politics. But we must be careful with those who want to use the politics to add to the curriculum vitae. I like that. I just hear it. Curriculum vitae. They want to use it to hide, so they jump on successful or potential successful things. So I asked who sent Deacon and why he came. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, I'm disappointed in some of the last three callers. Can you imagine them people say to build something more important than health? Health is wealth. Health is the most important thing in the world. Nothing else is more important than health. So if you could get health right, you're getting everything right, Mr. Pierre. I am disappointed in your colors and to suggest that they should health comes second in this country.
Yes, caller, thank you. That is the end of our program. And please don't disfigure it. The callers was not condemning health. Deacon must tell us What is the value of a teaching hospital? Explain that to us. Would it not be better for health if we improve preventive and if we put a doctor or nurse, residential doctor and nurse in the different clinics in our country? What is the cost? What is the value? Who you targeting in this health issue? Or is it just another show, another sham? Who is expected profit from it? What you intend to sell to do it? Is it the electricity company? Would you sell Nawasa this time? Or the next time NDC come back in power? Because NDC like to sell government assets. I appeal to the members of the National Democratic Congress. You the moderates, start asking questions. Because after Deacon sell out the assets, people are going to be watching you and ask how you could have supported that. And we're back with you on Thursday. We will not be here Wednesday, I believe. The government has parliament on Wednesday. Don't have parliament? Okay, so there is a possibility. So thank you very much.